Cocktails by Jay. I'm going to show you how to make a classic cocktail called the Boulevardier. The Boulevardier is the cousin to the Negroni. The Negroni has Campari, gin, sweet vermouth, and the Boulevardier, you're replacing the gin and you're either using bourbon whiskey or rye whiskey. I'm going to use rye whiskey, 100% proof rye whiskey for this drink. The Boulevardier is made with rye or bourbon whiskey. It's made with Campari, sweet vermouth, and then we're gonna garnish it. We're not gonna shake this drink, we're gonna stir it over ice. So the Boulevardier was actually created by Erskine Gwynn, who is a writer and had a magazine in Paris called the Boulevardier. So he actually created this cocktail, but it was featured by Harry McElhone, and Harry McElhone was a bartender who left the Plaza Hotel in New York and went to Paris during Prohibition. He opened his own bar, and at that bar he had written this book called Barflies and Cocktails, and in the book he credits Erskine for creating the cocktail called the Boulevardier. This cocktail is made with 1.5 ounces of either a bourbon or a rye whiskey. I prefer rye. It's not as sweet as a bourbon whiskey. This is 100% proof rye whiskey. We're gonna use 1.5 ounces. We're gonna use 1 ounce of Campari, which is an Italian liqueur. And then we're gonna use 1 ounce of sweet, that's the red sweet vermouth. Now we're not going to shake this cocktail. There are some cocktails you shake. This one we're gonna stir up. And the reason we're gonna stir this is to avoid cracking the ice and creating little shards of ice that they melt really quickly and they water down the drink. So I want this to be as strong, and I want it to be as just chilled and cold but not diluted down. So let's start with an ice cube, and we'll put this in our glass. This is like an old-fashioned or a rocks. All right, so I have a pretty good chunk of ice that I cracked down, and I'm gonna put it in here. And the reason we just do one large cube is so we don't have lots of pieces of ice that are gonna. So let's start with 1.5 ounces of a wonderful 100% proof rye whiskey. So 1.5 ounces. Let's now put 1 ounce of a sweet vermouth. And we're going to use 1 ounce of the Italian Campari liqueur. Now we're going to stir our cocktail so it gets really cold. And normally you know, because the outside of the glass starts to get chilled and a little bit frosty. So we're just going to get this as cold as we can. Smells great. Let's see if that glass, oh, that glass is getting really cold. Now we're going to take the skin of an orange, just like that, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to use a match, and we're going to burn off some of the oils and the juices from the orange skin, and that's going to caramelize some of the oils on your cocktail. We're going to just let that burn a little bit. Kind of burn the tip of it off. You don't use a lighter because you don't want butane or anything else in your cocktail. But let's just get our match down there. We're just kind of getting some of the juices on the drink, and then I'm going to give it a little more of a twist. I'm going to rub that around my glass and just put the skin right down in our drink. And there you go, the Boulevardier. Let's give it a try. Oh, that's a really good cocktail. Oh, that's nice. Reminds me a little bit of an old fashioned because of the whiskey. Has some little similarities to the Manhattan, but you pick up the flavors from the Campari. I smell the orange. Oh yeah, that's a really good cocktail. Anyways, cheers. If you like my video, please subscribe and hit the like button so I can create more great cocktail videos. Thanks for watching my video and look forward to making you more cocktails.